Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. Tonight we need to do some cleanup work, y'all. So, from afar you cannot see it, but up close you can see it. It's July. It is the hottest month that we have had so far. We've been in the high 90s. We have not hit 100 yet, so that's a plus. But there are some things that we need to pull out and then think about what we're gonna put in. And with it being July, we're gonna wanna make sure that whatever we put in, we have enough time for it to actually mature and to grow for us. And then we have to think about fall gardening. But right now, we're gonna think about cleaning up this garden a little bit. So let me show you some of the stuff, and then we're gonna get to chopping and cleaning. The tomatoes, they're gonna take a hard hit, y'all. So this is what we're starting to see on the tomatoes. Yes, it is disease. But we are gonna go ahead and cut a lot of this off. A lot of the bottom tomatoes are gone. We do have some that are left, but I think they'll be fine. We're gonna go ahead and cut a lot of this off of the plant. And this isn't the only section that looks like this. This plant has provided so much for me this year, but it is getting diseased. So we're gonna pull the disease out. We're not gonna put this in the compost pile. We're gonna put it in the trash can, and we're gonna send it. I'm in the city, I can't burn anything. So we're going to put it in the trash can and let it go. And then I'm hoping to see things I didn't see, because I was out here this morning and I was watering, and let me show you what I didn't see, because this borage that volunteered here was hiding it. That's also coming out tonight. This whole bed actually is gonna get a good cleaning. My butterfly flower is actually back here growing. So we're gonna go ahead and take that borage out. Hopefully, oh yeah, it's grabbing the trellis. Can y'all see? See? It's grabbing the trellis right there. While those flowers are edible, like you can make tea and stuff out of it, has no taste. It just changes the color, but it's very pretty. So I want that to grow and have something pretty. So yeah, like this whole bed had onions in them that I planted too late. It has lettuce that's going to seed. So we're just gonna clean this whole thing out tonight, along with a few other things. And yes, we'll probably be doing a little bit of harvesting, because there are some blushing tomatoes. I harvested things this morning, and tonight, the things that weren't ready this morning are now ready. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get some of this stuff cut off of this tomato. I'm very thankful for my garden stool. I just woke up because I was so tired. I was out here earlier recording a reel for this home and garden trends stool. So over on Instagram, I am doing a giveaway if you are interested. It is a very useful thing to have in your garden. I was out here earlier recording, and I harvested a whole bunch of herbs. I finally got around to harvest the herbs, y'all. They're all on my kitchen table. So I'm hosting a giveaway over on Instagram for one of these stools. You can sit on it, you can kneel on it. Either way, I am very happy for it. I had it for a while, and I always say, just like I said about the rain barrel last week, like, this is something that you didn't know you needed until you got it, right? And since I'm gonna be out here tonight doing a whole lot of cleaning up and kneeling down and sitting down, I think it's awesome. So if you're interested and you would like to win one, go over to my Instagram channel and enter the giveaway. Also, you can find a link below to the chair if you just want to go ahead and purchase one. And thank you, Home and Garden Trends, for sponsoring this video. So let's start cutting, y'all. So that is very, very diseased. We're getting all of that out, and I'm simply just cutting where the branch connects to the plant. I'm just cutting right there and taking it off. And I'm gonna go way up this plant because there's a lot of disease on it. Now, I could have started other plants, new plants, pulled these out, and started growing new plants, because my First frost is not until November, and the plants will keep growing until then. They'll slow down when it gets cooler, but they'll keep growing, they'll keep producing tomatoes. However, I didn't do that. I'm gonna try to get better with that next year. You know, having plants available to replace other plants, because while these will keep growing, it's a possibility that this same disease that's on it is just gonna run up the plant. But we'll see. And it'll be about time to start planning for fall anyway, soon. So right now, we're just gonna save what we can and keep it growing. So you can see right here, I'm taking a lot of the plant. Thankfully, there's a little bit of shade. So the tomatoes that's left at the bottom, they shouldn't burn, but it doesn't mean they won't. Okay, so that's what the new tomato plants are looking like. All the disease is gone. We have some tomatoes left, kind of all over the plants. These two right here are blushing, so we're gonna go ahead and take them. That one has a little bit of hole in it, but we'll take it. These are Dr. Weich's. They're very small. I had larger ones earlier in the season, but they're very small, but also edible. All right, so let's move on to some of the other plants so we can get to some of the other things. I want to take care of the tomatoes for sure tonight. If we don't get to everything else, like that very diseased borage today, then we'll get to it another day. We could do it tomorrow, but I'm gonna pull that whole thing out and look at what else I can plant. Honestly, I wouldn't mind another borage plant. Like, I have volunteer borage everywhere, so I may just put another borage plant back in there. They're beautiful, and the bees love them. So one thing someone asked me is, do I struggle with hornworms? Surprisingly, I do not. I did when I first started gardening. I do not. And when I see a hornworm, it's normally covered in wasps, because thankfully my ecosystem in my garden is growing. I haven't seen one hornworm so far this year. Let's cross our fingers that it stays that way. But I believe that even if I did, it'd be eaten by some wasps. It's why I don't spray. It's why I don't take it too serious, because I think as the time goes on, I'm gonna have a good enough ecosystem in this garden that I won't need to do any of that. So while we're here, we have some blushing pineapple tomatoes. Very light blush, but considering I just cut all their leaves off, we're gonna go ahead and take them so they can blush in the house. This tomato plant has been very good to me this year. So that one looks very bare, but if you remember, we put new plants down here out of the compost pile, and they are growing. So I kind of want to talk about this time of year in gardening. It is hot. Everything may be looking bad. It may look like, you know, your garden is about to die out. But it's Mother Nature. It's how plants work. And you can't have everything perfect in your garden. You just can't. And at this time of year, when it looks like things are dying out, when things are dying out, when it doesn't just look like it, that is exactly what's happening in your garden, and the bugs are out, and it's hot, and you're tired. Think about what you already got. Count the blessings that you already got from your garden. And on the days that you just don't feel like dealing with stuff like this, don't. I promise it'll be there tomorrow. My plants have been looking a little rough for a while, but I didn't feel like dealing with it, and so I didn't. If you're growing food to feed your family, like it is what you are doing to supplement food, I totally understand. But even in that, gardening is supposed to be peaceful. Gardening is supposed to be one of those things that you do to connect to the world, to center yourself. At least it is for me. And for some people, gardening is how you make your money. Gardening is a part of your, you know, livelihood. So I totally understand it. But don't let it not become fun. Don't let it not become what it was when you originally started. I have gotten so many tomatoes off of these plants. And so the only thing I can really be is thankful to them. I can't be upset that they're dying out. I can't beat myself up because they're dying out. Because I took very good care of these plants for the most part. But it's that time of year. And so with it being that time of year, I'm going to move with the plants. I'm going to do what the plants want me to do. And tonight, they want me to cut these branches off. And one thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of side shoots that are not diseased. So these plants may grow back and be bushy again. But if they don't, I got my tomatoes off of them. There's so many tomatoes left that, yeah, it is what it is. Here's one right here. It's a tiny little Cherokee purple that started blushing. Go ahead and take her in the house. I gave away so many tomatoes last week, y'all, that it's not even funny. And now I got a whole bunch more that I'm probably gonna turn into sauce. And I did a sauce video, had a sponsorship in it, so once they approve it, it'll be out for you. Nothing fancy, so don't get too excited. I took a nap earlier. I was out here, I recorded my reel, it got hot, and I went inside. I need to tie these ones up on this side. I hadn't got around to doing that either. So that'll be on in my plans for the week. I got around to a lot of them, but on this side I didn't get to it. By the way, let me show you. All of my transplants, or that's cricket. Oh, by the way, let me show you. All of my transplants from out of the compost pile survived. They're doing really well. My sucker right here is doing pretty good. But let me show you the other one. Oh no! Look, y'all. That is dead. Not a root came in. Not one root came in on that one, and it died. I'll grab another one and put it in this bag. I just don't take it too serious. So yeah, we're gonna get all of these cut up, and it is a little late, so we probably will only get to that other bed. I'm very, very much wanting to get to it because I want my butterfly flower, blue butterfly flower. I want that to grow. And with so much time left in the season, I think it will. I need to get up and get over on the other side. I'm not gonna have my chair. I'm gonna have the stand. So I took the whole top of that. It's disease. It's gonna take over the whole plant. Literally, no point in keeping it. We'll let the tomatoes that's on it ripen, and we'll pull it out. Unless, of course, we get some side shoots that start to make the tomato plant again, and then we'll just leave it. And there are side shoots on it. So, quick story about when I first started gardening, like my first year gardening. Every last one of my plants got blight. I had no idea what it was. And I ended up starting to post on Instagram. And someone said, just cut the tops off and let the tomatoes ripen. I had no idea that I could do that. I was gonna pull the whole plant, and it worked. So if you have diseased plants, you can definitely just cut everything off of them, leave the stem, and they'll start to ripen up, and you still get your tomatoes. So that's what the tomato plants are looking like. Still nice and bushy at the top, not so much on the bottom. And I cleared up these ones over here too. Lost a whole plant in this one, but it's cool. So we're still looking good. Still got good green growth on the top. That could keep these tomato plants growing. In the next few days, like I said, I'm gonna get these on this side tied back up because they aren't. But my review of the Florida weed, absolutely love it. I will be continuing to use it. Like, I think that that's where I got such a good tomato harvest from this year. The plants weren't struggling to stand up and all of that stuff. Like, I've never had this good of a harvest. And I've grown this many tomato plants before, and I've never had such a good harvest of tomatoes. So, until I find something better, Florida weave it is. I also just like the way it looks. It looks so neat. And if you're not new here, you know I like neat. Putting those tomatoes up on the porch while we go ahead and clean up this other bed. So I'm thinking next year. 6 weeks before the middle of July, I will start some tomato plants, some more tomato plants that will have enough time to mature before the fall, before our first frost date. And then I can plant them in the bag, cut off the tops of the old ones, let the tomatoes I have ripen, and then let the new ones take over the bag. I'm gonna give that a try next year. That's one thing too about gardening. You know, as you're gardening, think of other ways that you can extend your year. It's called succession planting. I did not make it up in my head. I just didn't do it this year. Look at the borage plant, y'all. Oh, I gotta get that out of there. And I'm sure it went to seed, and I'm gonna have so many volunteer borage plants next year, and I'm okay with that. I do like borage. So we're gonna get all the lettuce out of here. We're gonna get this borage plant out of here. By the way, my cantaloupe are doing really well. You can't tell that because there's so much junk over here. But the cantaloupe are growing right on up this trellis. All of these volunteer sunflowers are doing amazing. I chose not to move them because they were really pretty. They're huge now. We're gonna go ahead and cut out this borage though. Look at that. So all of this is lettuce that I didn't get to, and it went to seed. There's all kind of grass in here. The onions are just mushy. We're not gonna keep those. We're just gonna pull everything out. Yeah, the onions are like super mushy. Oh, how gross. Some lettuce here. I'm gonna give this lettuce to, matter of fact, I might give all of this to the chickens. They'll pick through what they want. So this will stop some of the competition in the bed that wasn't gonna amount to much anyway, and allow my pretty little butterfly, blue butterfly plant to grow. Also allow the cantaloupe to grow. My daughter loves cantaloupe, so we definitely want to make sure that grows. The borage over here also looks like trash, so we're gonna take that. Oh yeah, it was hollow. Yeah, it was a hollow branch. There's one on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and pull that out too. Oh look, this is lettuce going to seed. We're gonna pull that. Not that I mind it going to seed. I just mind this bed looking like this now. Like, I could deal with it for so long, and then I'm like, wait. This, and it's always this bed, which is the odd thing. I don't know, maybe I don't put too much emphasis on it. Also, the watermelon is in this bed, so that's why I want to clean it up too, because watermelon is a heavy feeder. And if I want to have watermelon, I need to give it the ideal, you know, space to grow in. So I just saw my mom pull up. This is just a short video of like, the garden is dying out. I'm still remaining positive, optimistic, and moving on to my second options. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in the garden almost every day. Oh God, what was that? Bye y'all.